When it comes to etiquette for amateur radio operations, especially for technicians, one of the things, the main thing you're going to be using to talk is going to be an HT, handheld transceiver, HT, and a repeater. Repeater etiquette is kind of unique. When you talk to somebody radio to radio, you just talk like you're friends, you're talking like you're simplex communications. On a repeater, it's completely different. There's something called a kerchunk. That was a kerchunk. If you go to a repeater and you key up just to see if you can get to it, that's referred to as a kerchunk. A kerchunk is bad. Repeater operators don't like them because there's no notification. The repeater just picks up the signal that you're keying it up and it goes away. It's not a good thing to do a kerchunk. However, if you're on the digital side and you're talking through one of the talk groups on digital, like we were talking about yesterday, on digital you have to kerchunk if you change talk groups. So the hotspot will know where you're trying to talk to. But when you go to talk, the first thing you want to do is give your call sign. So for me, if I'm on a repeater like the 210 in Garner or here N1RIK, what I will do is just give my call sign. I'll just say W4CEC. If I'm mobile, if I'm in the car and I'm going somewhere and I'm going to be in the car for a while, I'll say W4CEC mobile. You don't have to say mobile. You don't have to say, every once in a while I like messing with the people on the repeater, and I'll say W4CEC stationary. And somebody inevitably comes back and goes, stationary? Well, I'm sitting here in the house and I'm not moving. Okay. It's fun. It's not a lot of intense, what do you call it? Intense thought has to go into it. Basically, when you talk on a repeater, just think, what would you like to know? You'd like to know the person's call sign. You'd like to know if they're looking for somebody. Now, let's say I was going to be calling Steve on one of the repeaters. I would say WB4SMS, W4CEC. His call sign, then my call sign. And then he'll come back and say,
W4CEC, go ahead.
or he could just say his call sign, go ahead, or a lot of things. Normally, that's exactly how most people do it. And then you have your conversation, and when you're done, you say W4CEC clear, 7 3s, or 7-3. You'll hear 7 3s or 73s. It's actually just 7-3. That means see you later, goodbye, have a good day, that kind of stuff. That's a throwback from the old Morse code days, like we were talking about Mark 137 years ago. And then he'll come back, or what I might say is, see you later, Steve, have a good day, W4CEC, I'll be clear on your final. And then when he says goodbye, the conversation's over.
Oh, we can't give one of those southern goodbyes.
Southern goodbye? Define Southern goodbye.
It takes
15
about
minutes?
20 minutes, and you do it as you walk out the door. But then you come back and give them a hug, and you do it again, and you slowly get further and further away until you eventually wave down the driveway.
There are a few people on the repeaters that actually say goodbye like that. And you sit there and you go, oh my God, they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it'll be a week before they say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there are a few people. There's also things called net etiquette. Nets, for example, every day at 12 o'clock noon, they have the geezer and geezerette net. You could join that.
Oh, really?
It's on the 210 repeater. Anybody who considers himself a geezer or a geezerette.
I've never checked on that net, and I never will.
Kenny, he's one of the guys we were talking about yesterday. When Kenny actually talks, It is very easy to know that's Kenny. I cannot remember his call sign, but boy, I know his voice.
KJ4CVK.
Say again?
KJ4CVK.
KJ4CVK. Kenny is a really nice guy, and he will call a net, the geezerette net, and we've had 9-year-olds log into the net. So it's,
J04IBM.
yeah. I think that's cool.
Just got his, yeah, he's the 9-year-old that checks in every now and then.
Yeah.
Because he's being homeschooled now, so he can check in on the noontime net because that's his lunch break.
When you log into a net or register on a net or connect to a net, it's not like talking on a regular radio. It's not like talking on a regular repeater. It's not like regular conversation. All conversations are directed to the net controller. Even though everybody can hear you, you direct everything to the net controller. So the net controller says, I am now redirecting conversations. If you want to log into the net, please give your call sign, and you can contact me and KN4CVK. Is that him?
KJ4CVK.
KJ4CVK. I have a bad memory. So all you have to do is, when you get a break, you key the mic, say your call sign, and let go. And then he writes it down, and then they go in order as people log in. And you can also, instead of doing that, there's something called in and out. You can say W4CEC in and out. And when they get down to you on that list, well, he was in and out today, it was nice of you to be there, thank you. In and out means I'm in the net and I'm out of the car, out of the net. I'm not going to actually have a conversation. I'm not going to talk to anybody. But you registered, you connected to the net. When they do that, when they get down to you, if you're actually going to talk, they'll ask questions like, what's your favorite fried food, or what's your favorite Italian food, or some other odd question they throw in. Tell us how your day went today, things like that. What's a project you're working on? And
Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Geezer net is trivia day.
Trip, is that UFO?
No,
UFO started that.
he may have started it, but I haven't heard him participate in a while. But Richard and Bernie ask questions.
They have some interesting trivia questions. My favorite trivia question I always ask somebody is,
Going in that way.
you gonna climb it?
Hit the button.
No, we're just gonna cut it down, work on this thing back to it.
All right, anyway, does anybody have any questions about talking on a repeater?
What was the sign for that one?
Say again?
What was the sign for that one?
Sign?
Yeah.
Call sign?
Yeah.
Oh, there's lots of them.
No,
There's
for
lots
that
of
one
them.
you're talking about.
The
The one here is N1RIK. What's the K4ITL?
K4ITL. But he's got the repeater's call sign is the owner of the repeater. So K4ITL has about 35 repeaters out there.
They're all over North Carolina and
North Carolina,
South
South Carolina, and I think he's got a couple up in Virginia.
I think so, yeah. He has a lot of repeaters, and it's just I mean, you can travel anywhere. If you put them all in your radio, as you're traveling, you can keep changing repeaters and keep talking. Now there's another one that's really a lot of fun. It is called the 440, the Carolina 440 net. The Carolina 440 net, they're actually a bunch of linked repeaters on 70 centimeter, whereas they're connected to each other through the internet. So if you connect to one of them and key up, your signal is coming out of all of them. And they go from the Outer Banks
OBX at the Outer Banks all the way to
Yeah.
Asheville.
all the way to, well, I think
Are they beyond Asheville too?
there's one in Charlotte. I remember there being one either in or near Charlotte. So they actually spread all the way literally across the state. And it's a great one to keep in your radio, put all of them in one section of your radio, so you know, like program 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, all the way down is all that. And then what you can do is you can go through each one, not knowing where you are on that list. You can go through and key up, say, your call sign, see if it comes back with the little, because if it comes back with that, you know you got the repeater. And then you can talk. And if you were at the Outer Banks and you were in Asheville, you could talk to each other over the repeaters in your area, even though they're on different frequencies, because you're going through the internet to talk to each other. Anything else about repeaters you can think of?
South Carolina has a few.
Oh yeah, there's repeaters everywhere.
When you're,
Yeah, I just, Repeater Book is an app you can get for your
oh,
phone.
yeah, thank you.
And as long as you have the location on your phone, it will show you all the repeaters within your area, so that you can say, okay, I want to add that one to my radio, I want to add that one to my radio.
I never thought about that, you're right. I have Repeater Book on my phone, and when I was on 440net in different places, I should have just brought Repeater Book up and saw which one, and then I could have gone right to it.
I use it when I travel, so that, like, my parents live in Florida, so I'm up and down 95 all the time. So the first time after I got my license, we were going down 95, I was just bringing up